Happy Sunday afternoon, local swell trackers. Boy, a blustery day with north to northeasterly winds, gusting, chopping out the north shore. It's about 4 feet up there today, maybe 5. Not good conditions. The jet is just troughing right down on top of us. And this scenario is leading some of these bad winds. And of course, that frontal passage is where it all started. Last week, though, we're still living off of that. More about that in a bit. We're going to roll these out. The jet takes a straight drop right down on top of us, leading to north-northeast swell, instability in the area, and we're going to keep these gusty northeasterly winds all week. I'll get more into that in a second. It's also leading to cool temperatures. So the jet looks pretty strong, 170, 180 knot winds, and even up into the 200 knot category throughout the 7-day forecast. Rolling these things out again, you can see a more consolidated, stronger jet trying to come up with splits migrating to the east. But all in all, this setup is conducive to ongoing, regular, nice wintry swells. In the east pack are high pressures, and they are causing the jet to bounce up and dissipate up into the Gulf. Taking a look at the surface charts and doing a little hindcasting last Sunday, the 20th, we had plenty of fetches that brought nice west-northwest swells to the islands. Really light winds, and this fetch right here is the one that led to easily 12-foot surf and epic pipeline. There was an associated front that pushed down the ridge over the islands, cutting the trades. Conditions were perfect until Saturday. We had a complete pattern change. But look at all these fetches moving down our way from the west-northwest to northwest. That was all last week. This one's Tuesday. This was Wednesday, and this is Friday, which is going to help bounce us up this upcoming week. Next in line is this nice solid wintry storm for today, and these are current. The only issue really with a lot of these storms is their track up to the northeast, shortening the length of the time that fetch has to point at us, but it's still big enough. If it got much closer, we'd have warning levels. This one should be picking up Monday afternoon to 5 feet, maybe 6, peaking 5 to 7, maybe 8 feet Tuesday. Our northeasterly winds are going to stick around due to this low pressure in our vicinity and the high pressures adjacent to them. The pressure gradient right in between, you're looking at that yellow area there, leading to the strong northeasterly winds and strong northeast swell. So this guy marches up into the Aleutians, and then we get another one on Tuesday. That's a decent fetch. Looks like it has a little bit longer time to get a longer fetch, but it does end up moving up as well. But models are showing this one to reach about 8, hopefully 10 on Thursday, maybe even 12 feet on Friday. And rolling things out a little bit further, we go quiet and then start to drum up a little business on Sunday, but nothing as big as what we've been seeing. Now we're going to take a look at the swells generated by those surface winds we were looking at. This is going back last weekend, very complex area of low pressure, but we did see this guy bring us in insane waves. This one, it was a 1, 2, 3 punch, and then here comes this one on Friday, and it crosses the date line, switches up, but there's enough fetch on the southwest flank once again to pull us up to possibly advisory levels on Tuesday. The forerunners of 16 seconds on Monday afternoon. Starting these in again, here comes the next one. This is a more powerful storm with over 40-foot seas. It has that east track and then hits the area of high pressure and lifts. Again, that's the main limiting factor, but take a look at the swells on its southwest flank. This one will be 18-second forerunners, probably 4 foot of swell. Wednesday afternoon, that'll be enough for possibly 8 feet at sunset, all due to the super strong winds and super high seas in this guy. And this one should end up getting 8 to 12 late Thursday into Friday. Here comes the next storm. This one should be bumping us up with a more west-northwest swell on Saturday, Sunday, probably up to 8 feet, maybe even bigger on Sunday. And this is showing Wednesday, and it gets fairly close and is fairly broad. So we're going to hope for that one to get up to an advisory level. Again, filling in west-northwest to northwest, filling in on Saturday, peaking Sunday, and hopefully 10 feet. We'll wait and see. And then we go into a bit of a quiet period, but there's some other stuff that is planning to track our way and keep February looking good. Okay, so taking a look at the swell periods. Here comes the one for Tuesday, Wednesday. Starting in the animations, bam, we hit right there. Monday, getting those longer period forerunners. Again, not in the morning, but more in the afternoon. And then here comes the next one, This one will be even longer periods, a fatter swell, a bigger too. 18-second forerunners Wednesday afternoon. And so these are back to back to back. This one again getting the biggest. And here comes a decent reinforcement here, and that'll be for Friday. And then we get that more westerly swell on Saturday and Sunday here. Taking a look down under, we have a pretty active jet for this time of year. There's some 160 to 170 knot winds, tracking mostly zonal here down under. But there is a meridional or equatorial bound flow that gets going later in the forecast right there. And that does allow a low to form at the surface and move up our way. So the town is not going completely mill pond flat on us. We have a series, actually 4 separate tiny swell events, 7 to 14 days. Starting these in again, you can see this one actually ends up pointing straight north, and there's some energy coming on through the Taz as well over here. These super long range forecasts are tough to have much confidence on. Going back to last Sunday, we had this little guy here off to the southeast of New Zealand. We saw some 20-second forerunners here today on this. It won't be much, but there'll be some 2-foot sets out of it. The track didn't last long. It actually was tracking down into the Ross ice shelf. And we have another, just a tiny little bit of energy right there. All bringing us, trying to get us up to a foot of swell at, 14, 15 seconds. Once again, nothing to write home about, but if we catch a waist-high, chest-high wave and the conditions are okay, and we get wet, and rolling this out a little bit further, you can see this one intensifies but starts tracking the wrong way. We're not anticipating any swell from this. Chile will certainly be getting something. A week out from today, you can see we're into a very quiet period. So taking a look at the swells created by those surface winds, here we are right now, nothing being generated. But as time goes on, we got a nice solid Tasman Sea storm passes under early the upcoming work week. We need those systems to move up the Tasman Sea between New Zealand and Australia right here. But it does move out and start a zonal flow. And this might be enough due to its size to get us up to a couple waist-high waves off and on at the right tide. All the typical kind of boring stuff. There it goes. It gets caught in that jet and steered up our way. Most of the energy passing off to our southeast, but a little bit of sideband swell for this one. Hopefully a 1 to 2, 2.5. If we're lucky, Friday the 8th or the 9th of February. Here's another one positioning off of the New Zealand coast, but it ends up tracking the wrong way again, kind of following the jet stream. It's big enough. Models are claiming that we'll have some 16 seconds out of this. It's not even going to be a foot. And we'll roll these things out to the end of the 7-day forecast right there, which is quiet once again. So we start off quiet. We get a couple storms and then over the next week or so. And if you don't have the time to drive to the country, you will have at least something. The first one is this week early. The next one is next weekend. And the next one after that is about Tuesday, Wednesday, the first week, February 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th, 2 feet. Okay, the swell periods, here they come from the Tasman Sea. These are a little deceptive. They got to get through the South Pac Islands. They usually, that cheese grater. To get through that, you got to have a pretty significant swell. It doesn't look like we really will get this, so it's a bit deceptive. You can see how a lot of the energy is moving off to the southeast, but there's a little bit of energy that's going to try to make its way up. And you might wonder if, for example, a week out from tomorrow, Monday, February 4th, the swell that's trying to move up for February 7th, 8th, and 9th, will the big northwest swells cancel it out? And they won't. So again, we'll just go ahead and roll these out one more time. You see most of the energy coming down from the North Pac because it is winter, but the South Pac is still trying its best to deliver. And our best shot is this guy right here. So mark your calendar, 7th, 8th, and 9th of February. All right, the water vapor loops showing the instability on our windward side, instability to our south. But boy, I'll tell you what, it feels cold. It doesn't feel very, like the air mass is very stable out there. There's almost a line going through from the windward side to the leeward side. So here we are right here, low pressure off to our east to northeast, high pressure here to our northwest, pressure gradient in between increases. You can see that flow aloft in the counterclockwise direction. That's the low pressure, of course. This helps to see it maybe a little bit clearer, and you can tell that those clouds are just close enough to bring a ton of wind and cloud cover today with isolated rain. Highs are going to be upper 70s, lows in the lower 60s, and this scenario is going to stay put So we are not expecting regular east trades to get back this entire week. So conditions not great for the north shore, but really good for the leeward side. The hand-drawn surface charts will make it a little clearer. We are here. Here's that low pressure, creating some troughiness aloft and over the islands. There's the high pressures off to our northwest. There's the pressure gradient tightened in between, leading to the cooler north to northeast winds and northeast swell. There comes the low pressure over here, bringing us the first in a series of 3 swells this week alone. So the Vulcan Pipe Pro is going to have plenty of opportunity, maybe not the best of conditions, certainly not like last week. And the reflective loops showing, oh wow, ton of rain actually, really coming down on the windward side. And it looks like it is increasing here this afternoon. And we'll finish up with windy duck. There's the fetch to our northeast. There's the fatty up here for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And more to come here forming off of Japan. That's the setup. We'll see you back here the weekend of the 9th. Mahalo for checking in. Aloha.